Today, I want to share a little story and a lesson and how I overcame basically hustle culture. Because this time last year, I kind of looked at my calendar yesterday and it was filled with like blue blocks. It just looked like Lego or Jenga. I had like 3 or 4 triple bookings a week. I was taking about 8 hours of sales calls every week, running my design agency and my coaching program. It was a little bit of, I don't want to say a little bit, it was a lot of hustling to get there. And I was really happy. I was motivated. I was determined to get places until I wasn't, right? And one morning I kind of woke up with some heart palpitations and I ended up at the doctor's, and that was like a wake-up call because thankfully there was nothing there. Like, I've been fit and everything was fine. The doctor kind of said this is stress induced. And that was all I needed to hear. I kind of said, what's really important here is health over everything. So I was putting clients, I was putting my own health over my family. I wasn't sleeping. I was really stressed out just because I wanted to serve people. And it was almost like a childhood fear of letting go. I was a yes man. I literally said yes to everything, out of fear because I grew up with less money and stuff like that. Like, I won't get into those details, but what happened there, I was like, you've got an engineering background. You've ran the agency. You've scaled it up and down. So the number one thing I decided to do was find an evergreen asset that created leverage, because people like Naval Ravikant, I've read his book countless times, always talks about the principle of leverage. And we as human beings obviously make money with our time. I wanted to get paid to think. I wanted to get paid without having to invest my time, or at least not all of it. So when I started growing my email list, the first thing I did was put together something I call a daily client engine, which is a classic sort of ascension model where you have multiple little bite-sized chunks of information for clients to buy into your universe. So the first thing I did was I looked back at things that I already had on my drive, on, assets that were once liabilities that I wanted to turn into power assets. So what was once a liability, hosting workshops, hosting meetings, I then took those recordings and turned them into digital assets that I could sell in the form of a course, in the form of a funnel, and then created this concept called the daily client engine. Now, what happened there is my market was telling me that they didn't have a sales and marketing problem, they had an offer problem. So I figured out that even for me, being able to refine your offer as the first step of the way, then sales and marketing needed less attention because the offer would sell itself. So my hypothesis was I could get off of sales calls and sell through a Google Doc. And I shared that as a workshop to my email list, to my existing community, and they started getting results. So I was like, bingo, this is what the market is telling me. So I validated that concept and turned it into an evergreen asset. So instead of conventionally before somebody opting into my list, reading a bit of what I'm up to, and then me offering a call and trying to pitch them into a program, I now turned this power asset, which I call the offer blueprint, into a front-end offer for $100. And instead of offering a call, which was me leveraging my time, I was offering this asset with all the templates, all the resources and everything for somebody who opts in to buy it. And what happened was absolutely batshit crazy, excuse my language, because I managed to eliminate sales calls from 8 hours a day to 4 hours a day, to then 2, to then 0. And now I'm putting all my efforts into existing clients without having to do sales calls. The catch isn't anything fancy. It's actually using leverage to your benefit based on the business model that you want to build. So for me, I wanted to build a business that was low stress, low maintenance, and high leverage. And this was the key for me to unlock this kind of timepiece and get rid of the sales calls. Now, it's a very simple framework. Somebody opts in, and then there's a welcome sequence. And within 72 hours, you kind of say, if you're considering this sort of thing where you want to refine your offer, then you can buy the thing. Now, all of a sudden, I was getting people buying $100 on the front end and set up another sequence to turn them from a lead to a customer, which was part one, and then a customer to a client. Then I doubled down on writing, which I was really passionate about. Kept on writing, kept on posting. People would opt into the list. You can check it out by opting into swipemymojo.com to see that flow. And then all of a sudden, it was so much easier and effortless to get those clients in. So there's a lesson in there for you. You might be replaceable as a solopreneur, you might be replaceable at work, but you are irreplaceable as a son, as a husband, as a daughter, as a family member that you are. And that is what you should prioritize for.